And welcome back, everybody, to the UMG Gaming Studios for the tail end of the UMG Champions Apex Legends Arena $10,000 Invitational. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Rain Day and Girl. We're back at it once again, the trio here to make it happen, right? We got a great matchup, EU United. Europe about to have some representation with NAVI. It's going to be a great time. I can't wait to see them play. They were in this spot, Rain Day, in the last tournament we had, and they ended up losing to their other EU brethren of Aqualix. Aqualix not playing this time around, so now NA is looking to destroy their chances for playoffs.
Yeah, I love the way that Navi is showing up, playing like Dan mentioned, our only European representative here, and playing across the pond servers-wise. So having a, if there is a disadvantage there, it would go their way. But in terms of disadvantages, you cannot look at this roster and say that they have any. Both of these members, from Kouhia to Max-Strafe, alongside Nesh, have been dominant in the highest level of Apex possible. Nasky, Strafe, and Dell, when they were still allowed to play together and they didn't split up due to the signings and the need to kind of start getting paid to be a professional Apex player, I mean, nobody was beating them in Europe. They had a dominant moment that is beyond almost anything we've seen in the European region. So to have one of those members and have this Kouhia and Nesh together, this is going to be a hard team to beat, servers or not.
I agree, and servers are not. Just to clarify what he means by that, since they are European, they have agreed ahead of time to play on North American servers. That's just kind of how it's always been for the past 3 tournaments we've hosted, or at least 2, this one being the 3rd. So everybody is in agreement with that. And girl, that could play an impact, but the biggest question I have for you, though, Neanderthals took a massive, massive beatdown that Era was able to get them, and across the 3 maps, they ended up winning only 2 rounds in its entirety. And let's be honest with you, that one map that they were won on Overflow was kind of a throwaway one, because I think Era was just having fun.
They were indeed. They just doing those 360 grapple, no scope headshots. It's kind of like Call of Duty at this point. But
honestly,
you know what? You just got to move past that. Do your best. Put your foot forward. Try and do well against Navi, and maybe you can have a comeback against them later on.
Well, I mean, 2 different teams, right, Rain Day? I mean, Era's been looking unstoppable, and obviously this is going to be Navi playing against them, who, gotta say, a bit bittersweet. They did knock my Rise Gears boys out of the way, but still happy that they did play. I'm sad I didn't get a chance to watch them on stream. I know the sentiment is echoed from, some of our viewers out there, but let's get into it, Rain Day. Let's take a look at our maps, see what we're going to be rolling with here. Starting off, we have Phase Runner. First time we're going to be seeing Phase Runner, I think, in terms of the first map. But everything else pretty much the same, but Dome coming into the mix for the first time.
Love Dome. I mean, I love that. I feel like it would be a good series if we got to play Dome. This could go a lot of different ways. I don't expect to see Overflow, but if we do, we know how that map can play. It's a pretty even map. But Phase Runner starting us off, that's going to be fun because it's a bit more of an open space. You tend to see more defensive and more slow-paced games. So we'll really get to feel out these 2 teams, their confidence levels, their strategies, and the matchup in a much more even way, less than the aggressive style of Party Crasher, which kind of lends itself to a little more mayhem.
And I gotta say, girl, that is a great opening map for Navi. They like to play more of a slow, methodical style, at least from what I've noticed from the last time playing. There's been a couple of months since our last, Apex Invitational, but I think this is going to be a strong opening for Navi as a whole.
You actually took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking the same thing. They would like the long range, the one step at a time kind of distancing, because maybe that ping also would kind of hurt them really, really close range, but we'll see how it pans out.
Well, I mean, Rain Day, that could actually benefit Neanderthals in a way, because you look at the dichotomy, right? Them playing against Era, who was just nonstop in their face because they weren't getting punished. So it could be a benefit that Navi likes the slower pacing style.
And in Europe, we see that often. North America and Europe, not only different strategies and I think styles as far as play when it comes to Legends, but in terms of pacing and the way that they approach final circles, typically in North America, we see teams kind of get into that top 10 fairly quickly within round 1 and 2, heading into round 3. In Europe, it's very common for even the first games of a 6-game series for 14, 16, 17 teams still to be alive heading into round 4. And that's why you could see European a little bit more conservative, a little bit more traditional in their approach. And that goes to show how good they've been at tactical shooters. And, Europe has dominated that scene for almost ever in video games. They bring that to Apex really well, and Navi's no different there. They're going to come with a lot of a regiment and I think a plan in order to get out of this bracket and hopefully make it into tomorrow.
Well, I know Navi last time was, like I said, derailed in losers finals. That was from Aqualix. This time around, they're looking to break that curse, make it into playoffs, which I don't know if they made it into playoffs from that week or that first tournament that we had for the Apex Invitational, but at least for now, this would be the first time. Yeah, so they did it, and I'm getting confirmation. So this might be their, breakaway attempt to finally make it into playoffs, and I would like that, at least for the European folks out there. Let's get into a Rain Day prediction time. We're going to start with you this time around. Who are you going to be backing up?
I got to go with Navi on this one. It's no surprise. I've seen all three of these players play over the course of the last 2 years quite often. So they've got a great track record of experience. And you also talk about it, Taylor. They've got the motivation. They were close, but weren't able to achieve what they wanted to do last time around. Now they're in the same exact position. I think great competitors like this are going to make the adjustments they need to do and then find a way to get into tomorrow's playoff run. So that's my pick, Navi, for the win today.
All right, girl, what about you? Who are you going to be going with?
I'm also going to go with Navi. I think they've got a lot of potential. I think after losing a couple times in the previous tournaments that they may have practiced up until now. I saw them in chat. They were super excited for their next game. And I'm super excited to see what they can bring today.
Yeah, they're excited to be on the broadcast. I know they were asking about that. Can we finally get some EU representation on the broadcast? Well, here it is. Now that you got your time in the spotlight, I really hope you guys make the most of it. Chat, who are you going to be going with, Navi or Neanderthals? It's Neanderthals? Did you guys not see that matchup?
Wow.
I guess they didn't. And to sign one, Stunny, I know you guys have been out there in chat. Let them know. Neanderthals clearly still the crowd. I'm actually blown away by that Rain Day. I can't lie. I'm really surprised.
I'm surprised too, but I think maybe Neanderthals has that great kind of, dark horse underdog story going on, which to me is always something to root for. I just happen to know that Navi is too good of a team for me to not place my bet on them. However, I would love to see a great match. Let's get to Dome. Let's get to Overflow. Let's make it go all the way and give us a nail bite day.
All the players are ready to go. The map's loading in, so I'm going to go ahead and exit. Rain Day Girl, take it away.
Thank you, Taylor. Reflections. It's Rain Day and Girl in the house for the final set of the day. We're going to see who can punch their ticket into tomorrow's playoffs. $10,000 on the line, $5,000 for first. They're all vying for that ultimate satisfaction of being the winner. But also Navi, we mentioned, Girl, they've got that story of having a chance to do it again. Sometimes you lose and season's over, and then you have to wait a whole season, a whole new league, do it again. And now, it feels like maybe in a shorter time period, Navi has a chance for redemption here against the team Neanderthals, who haven't really gotten going yet.
No, they haven't. And Navi, they've lost a couple times so far. And, once you're a competitive player, you're going to practice. You're going to get into arenas. You're going to go in as a team. You're going to get that teamwork straight and on point. And I'm excited to see the difference between the previous tournament and today. So here we go for map number 1. Do you expect any legends coming into this? A Rampart maybe, or just a natural Gibby Octane Pathfinder?
I think Rampart has been kind of a revelation here on Phase Runner. I've played a lot of arenas against Rampart on this map in particular, and it does force your choices, and it forces your hand to play in a strategic way. You have to kind of maybe invest a little bit more in ordinances to break down some of the setup that they've got. You've got to invest in longer range weapons because you can't really win those poke battles, and you can't be so aggressive because, of course, especially if it's coupled with the 30-30 repeater like we've seen Aiden use and we've seen other players throughout this tournament use, you are going to take a lot of damage. But right here, look at this, Neanderthals with the Wraith and the Octane heading into a traditional Octane Pathfinder Gibraltar loadout. Going to be very interesting. Definitely going to be a lot of defensive utility on the side of Navi here.
Navi already has the upper hand. They got all the meds, well, most of the meds, and they didn't take any damage going for them. Exile already got tagged up. He's out of shield cells already, so they're gonna have to make a play and make it quick because they're down bad on the meds here.
I think this setup and, of course, this legend composition is really good for the side of Navi. They've got all the mobility to match the Octane. It's really the Wraith and the Gibraltar that is the difference maker there, and Gibraltar is just so good from a utility-wise. Blitziin is going to have to create space and really make value of that into the void. It does save his life right now, and he's able to go back, but look who smells the corner. He's trying to peek around at NAVI. Kouhia knows exactly where Blitziin might be. Shots coming in just a moment. And you can see it right there. Kouhia now gets forced back. Did he bite off a little bit more than he could chew? He's off to the races, back towards base to slow it down.
Yeah, but they have the meds to back it up here. Neanderthals, they have nothing left. Blitziin's down bad on 25 to HP. Exile took a really nice angle earlier and was able to output some damage, but not enough. NAVI is doing fine. They're sharing shield batteries. Kouhia's just going to heal up, and they're going to take this slow 3v3. Make no mistakes.
And I like this. And you could see European play style in Apex Legends a little bit more tried and true, a little bit more methodical, less risks, better risk management. And Neanderthals, with this lineup, maybe taking a risk in itself. Still have to win 3 games total. And, of course, 3 rounds in each game. And win by 2. That's the rules of the Arenas format. But still, amazingly, NAVI biding their time as much as possible. Strictly trying to do as much as he can. He hits a couple of shots and actually gets a crack. But now Strafe has his sights on him. Can Exile pop up from the high ground and finish off Strafe? No, not even close. Can't even get a peek before he gets domed right back with a shot from the wingman. That'll be 1-0 NAVI. Start us out.
Something to consider is Neanderthals didn't do that bad. They outputted a lot of damage. They took really good angles. The only thing that really lost them the round was not getting the bin full of meds. They have to contest that bin, or they have to output damage enough to potentially get a knock or pre-throw grenades or something like that.
How do you feel, for me, this team fight's going to go as we get into these extended rounds? Because that was a very long extended round, and I don't see NAVI trying to push unless they get a really clear opening or an early down. Do you think this favors the Gibraltar composition later, or does this favor the Wraith Octane with a little bit more aggression being able to push?
I think Gibby has an advantage on this map, to be honest, but Max-Strafe, that's what I was talking about. Neanderthals has to get a knock on that bin or get the meds, and they got the knock. So Max-Strafe is down. They're going to be in a 3v2 situation here. They won't be able to get the revive off at all. All right, so you see Nesh trying to pop these shots. Has to shield bat right here. They're pinging out. Comms are together, but the grenade comes in right above.
Really nice stuff there. The 30-30 headshot actually made it tough for Blitziin, but right there, the triple take is firing back. They're not quite able to get that revive, like you mentioned. This should be a down onto Strictly, but Nesh is left alive by himself. He's got the 30-30. If he can win this duel somehow... Oh, there's a chance. There is definitely a chance. He's got to finish this off quickly. Hits the shot, and that's it. It's a 1v1. The Mozambique's headshots are needed. He can use the body of the down player to his advantage. The height, though, is going to shut it down. Neanderthals will tie it up 1-1. And that early down by Max-Strafe really was the difference.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I was predicting it. You either have to get those heals or put everything into looking at that bin, especially in the earlier rounds when you don't have enough crafting materials to buy the meds yourself because you're just going to lose the med battle. But that 2v3 was a very valiant effort by NAVI.
Really tough stuff. You could see it was the 30-30, sorry, the triple take that actually knocked him. It was a headshot, and maybe not expecting the long-range investment there. Good stuff by Nesh. You could tell if they just had one more player around, or if that third shot had connected and he didn't have to reach to go for the Pathfinder kill, maybe would have had a chance to separate and not be in a full engagement. But now we go across the map to the other side of Phase Runner, where we'll start the poke battles again. Triple take in the hands of Blitziin. Why not? It worked so well to get you the instant 2v3 advantage there. And 46 already.
Let's go this way.
He looks like he is primed to be able to put in a lot of work with this one, holding a nice head glitch here. And NAVI's not going to bite this time around. Much slower, much more cautious in round 3.
Well, Max-Strafe took in 100 damage there off the bat, but they are looking at these angles. He has the high ground. Kouhia hitting. Not sure if that ragged there, but he does hit Octane for 45 with his wingman. He's running a 2x wingman.
Wow.
This is a Predator player for you, not me.
And I love it because he knows that a lot of this fight is going to take place from range where the 2x is going to shine. But up close, you're right. I don't think I could adjust fast enough. I got to have an HCOG. A 1x is really where I need to live with that, especially if I know that it's going to get up close at one point in time. Blitziin getting pressured out. Luckily, the body size of the model of Wraith able to duck underneath the box and avoid any shots, but Strictly down to 25 HP, so Blitziin has to provide some cover. It's just too late. And now him and Exile, it's up to the two to try to face off the entirety of NAVI, who are still sitting on purples with nearly full health.
Yeah, Blitziin was outputting some damage there, trying to cover his teammate, but it really wasn't enough. So let's see if Neanderthals can pull off this 2v3 coming up. NAVI taking angles. Max-Strafe seems to be taking the lower ground.
Ooh.
But Blitziin getting absolutely destroyed. He's going to pop a battery. Are they going to push after that, or are they still going to take it slow?
Yeah,
oh my
it is.
goodness,
Oh.
taking him down. There you go. He got the angle.
Max-Strafe with a beautiful couple of wingman shots, and that'll do. That'll do. NAVI take 2-1 lead here in this first game of our final set of the day, heading into playoffs tomorrow. The winner of this will be playing on Sunday. The loser will, well, wish they won, as we get a little bit of a high ground view.
Oh,
A nice
those were
spot
some
there.
nice headshots with the wingman and a very nice angle. Exile trying to clutch this out. Hits most of his shots, but unfortunately, it's still a 3v1 there.
That's just where you have, you have too many people and not enough damage. It's just impossible to win that fight. Even with all headshots, you couldn't turn around and quick scope all three of them. Just not enough bullets in the magazine. But right now, Strictly taking advantage of the Octane jump pad to get there early, but so is Kouhia. A little bit of a mirror image there. And the longbow comes out. Girl, you said you were surprised we hadn't seen this. Big fan of the longbow.
Oh no, Max-Strafe dies on the bin for the second time in this series. Not looking very good for him. Strictly going at the wingman, doing a lot of damage. This is it. This is it. Kouhia is down to 1 HP. Unless Nesh can pull off some 5,000 damage, Super Saiyan type stuff, I don't know what we could talk about here. Kouhia, he's surviving. Actually playing these angles quite well. The nades coming through, they actually hit. He's one shot away from dying, but they cannot connect that shot. Can he pop a battery?
He will.
Nesh
Get
is-
it off.
Yep.
Problem is, he didn't do enough damage to knock. They're still pursuing. They're still
No.
creating difficult angles. And Kouhia doesn't have time to go ahead and get in the med. First time we're seeing the car, though, today. Girl, the brand
Yeah.
new weapon. And then Season 11 takes heavy and light ammo. A little bit of a mix above the R99 and in between what maybe the Volt might get you, or the flat line. And right now, it's just getting plenty of damage right there. Flexible and easy to use. Going to hit fire for the win. Neanderthals tie it right back up. Oh, we got ourselves a series here.
We do indeed. The only 2 rounds that NAVI lost were when they lost Max-Strafe on the bins, though. So we're going to have to be really careful on these bins.
Wow, what was
The
that?
car, oh my goodness. The shots right there. He had the angle. They both jump padded in, so they were both there. That headshot was super nice.
And I just think maybe he didn't expect that someone was right on the other side. Maybe Strictly was holding the opposite side of that bin, because it looked like he went way beyond into enemy territory there, and he kind of jumped up without shooting, and then it just became a very difficult spot. Just took too much damage. I know Max-Strafe will be looking at that saying, well, I've got to tighten that up. That play won't get it done for the rest of the tournament. And Strictly saying, hey, please, one more time. I don't mind it. I like the transition too, using the credits well. Pathfinder ultimate, 1 round. Octane jump pad ultimate, the next round. Very, very economical by Neanderthals.
And look at all of the grenades these individuals are carrying right now. It's going to be so hard to walk into that range on that pill. Max-Strafe taking damage. He's popping shield cells, and I wonder why that is. Does he not have enough crafting materials to buy batteries at this point? It's late in the game. You should have enough materials.
It's gonna be good.
And now that you've lost 2 rounds, maybe
Got him.
not. Oh, it's burning, and it hit him.
Oh, man.
Did they do anything off of that, or are they just going to hold these angles? Looks like they're holding the angles.
And that may be all you want to do. The one thing you have to be careful about, especially if you're NAVI, is not getting now a little bit too shy to push when opportunities arise, because you've lost Max a couple of times and you know that kind of spells doom. You still have to have that confidence when you hit a couple of good shots to capitalize on it. And Blitziin's still holding here with the longbow from range, 110 to the dome if he finds a spot. But Kouhia finding just as much damage back. He is still in a vulnerable position if he were to get sniped. But Max-Strafe applying pressure on the right side. This is getting intense as the circle, still plenty of time to move, but a lot of fire going back and forth. This could be a resource management round, girl.
Yeah, and I did see Max-Strafe with 4 batteries, so they seem to be doing okay on resources as a team. Blitziin has 1 battery left to his name. Kouhia has 1 as well, so he's going to pop that. He's going to have to ask Max for some shield batteries before he gets into the next fight here. But it's a slow one, not for sure.
Strictly here with the longbow. I think he's just trying to find something. Something that says go. Everyone's been on yellow and waiting for that infamous green light to commit all the resources and blaze ahead at speed. And that just might have been it. Kouhia with 20 health. Shield cells remaining. No batteries at all. Navi has to push back. 87 now onto Max-Strafe. Blitziin knows that something's happened, but has it been enough? Again, maybe this is the moment. They should have pressed the advantage. Kouhia is almost back up on shield, and there it is. Exile uses the grapple to get to the right side. Kouhia still patient. And this is actually okay. Both teams don't have to move here. And we'll see where this ring pulls yet again. It might favor this side where Kouhia and Exile are about to fight.
Yeah, right in the middle between both of the teams. So they both kind of have an okay position. It's down to who has those close range or who hits those shots up close. Got Max-Strafe on the box. They're looking for angles. Blitziin has a PK, so he's okay close range as well when it's going to come down to it. But they don't have a Gibby Dome. That's the one thing that worries me is they're going to have to play Navi's Gibby Dome, or Navi will have the advantage by doming and peeking out of that dome. We'll see what happens.
But they do have an aggressive team, though, and I think that's the benefit of the aggression. And Blitziin as well, being able to go into the void and out of it, that's one thing that Navi won't have as well. This is a really good grenade inside the dome. Makes it so if you stay in there, you're in trouble. Blitziin is already down, though. Won't be able to go into the void. Strictly jumps right back in. Exile looks good. Navi looks like they're going to go down. Beautifully played by Neanderthals. And they take the 3-2 lead here in game 1.
Now, I really thought Blitziin was throwing when he went in with no armor and 1 grenade, but he created so much space and his team just did all of the work there in the end by killing them while they were all looking at him in the bubble. That was geniusness.
It's a wonderful kind of showcase here of how much things can change. You know, we saw Era Eternity and Neanderthals, and it looked like this really isn't the same tournament. These two teams are in different tournaments. They happen to just be playing each other, or we're showing the footage in the same game mashed up or something. It couldn't be possible because that's how dominant Era Eternity were. So we thought that reflected on Neanderthals. No, maybe that's just reflecting on how good Era Eternity are, and maybe Neanderthals really are able to compete here because they're giving Navi not just a run for their money. They're outplaying Navi, I think, in these scenarios. More patient, more tactical, and I think they're taking advantage of their strengths a little bit better. I haven't seen the Gibraltar actually make the difference yet, girl, for Navi in these final circles.
No, unfortunately, that bubble fight, to be honest, they should have won because Blitziin didn't even have any meds or armor, but when it came down to that close range fight, they ended up losing their necks there, and they ended up losing the fight. Now you see Max-Strafe holding a longbow, turning it into a G7 scout here due to the care package, but good damage will come out here. And they have the zone. I would say it goes towards them, but not 100% sure.
I love what I see there with the G7 scout. This is Navi's and Max-Strafe in particular specialty. Pathfinder just has that way of finding those nice high ground ledges. And the G7, it just hurts so much when it starts to rain down on you. Navi, Max-Strafe, you see there trying to find little head glitches as well. We'll see, though, Kouhia taking a lot of damage in return, isolated to the right side. Opportunity for Exile to grapple onto that. Not quite yet, though. G7 not getting much damage yet, and still has the Pathfinder ultimate if a daring escape needs to be made. Just going to grapple onto the right side. He's right near Strictly, too. He's kind of forcing the issue, and I like this pace a little bit more from Navi, kind of taking the fight to, of course, Neanderthals, who have been really controlling the pace and the space in these last 2 rounds.
They have, and Blitziin has not missed a single longbow shot. He's outputting so much damage and putting so much pressure on them, but Exile actually gets tagged up a lot. Max-Strafe is doing so well with the G7 scout. Personally, I can't hit a shot with it anymore just because it's been, you know, it hasn't been used in my weapon slot very often, but look at that damage.
1,200 damage already, girl. I mean, that's...
Wow.
That is a big number. You wouldn't see this, I think, heading into round 3, but 19 under damage by Kouhia. Kouhia, that is unbelievable. 2,000 damage by Exile. They are just poking like crazy. This is really a long battle of resources here. You can see from these players. Willing to poke, willing to prod, but not willing to go all in. And I think that's going to be the decider here, as we've seen more and more. Circle moving in, all 3 members still alive. Navi peeking. Blitziin ready to peek right back. Longbow shot just narrowly missing. It's a stalemate yet again.
You know what I would suggest if I was Navi's coach?
What?
I would suggest Gibby buying ulti. Imagine how much damage you could do. They do not have a bubble. They have no way to escape it. They're going to have to run around like little chickens to escape it.
Oh,
anyway,
they
fight ensuing.
They did it. They did buy ulti. Look at this girl. You know, if she ever needs to stop casting, she might just have a job coaching because the exact thing you said won Navi the round. The Gibraltar defensive bombardment, the bubble for safety, forcing the predictable play of Neanderthals. And yeah, they dropped like flies. Nice job, girl.
I actually had no idea they bought Gibby ulti,
I mean,
but it looks so good because it's such an open space and they have no dome. It was great.
Well, you know, if I ever go pro, I'm hiring you. You're going to be my coach for sure. But I'm not going pro, so that was a bit of an improv. Exile, though, he sees the difficulty. He actually looks like he got taken down, trying to get that dance right, that shimmy, that tango of the bubble. Is very difficult to master, especially against a bubble that is one you don't want to enter but have to enter, otherwise you will die due to the ultimate outside of it. But shots like that from Max-Strafe on the longbow, looks like he's just opted in for the long range, and I like this approach as well.
We could check out here.
Saying, you know, Blitziin, we know how well you've been doing it against us. We'll use that strategy right back.
Grenades are coming out. They use all their grenades pretty much early game on Neanderthals, so late game they won't have too much. But Kouhia down to 1 HP. He's got to get out of there. But they actually get a knock on Neanderthals. Wow, Kouhia down to 1 HP. That was impressive getting out, and they have to take advantage of this 3v2 situation now.
And this is where you got to be careful. The grapple, the immediate rotation. You can protect your 3. You can put pressure on the no revive, strictly trying to back his way closer to Exile and Blitziin. Maybe there's a possibility, he might be thinking. And with shots like that, there is an answer. Exile, though, is now looking to do it. The grenade looking to hit, bounce off the walls. Will it do enough? They're pressuring, and this is it. This should be the end of it. Exile grapples out, but Max-Strafe and the rest of Navi are hunting. They smell blood in the water, and they will not stop until they are satisfied with the hunt, and they have achieved exactly what they want there. 4-3, Navi.
It was a tight battle, I would say, because if Kouhia went down there, it's a trade, then it's a 2v2. But because they got that knock, because he got out with 1 HP, they were able to clean it up nicely. They pushed on the knock while they were reviving, and it was just a clean sweep overall. What would you suggest to Neanderthals if, you know, they had a lifeline right now?
I love the way that they've been holding down the pace of this game. I mean, I think ultimately what's shifted is that, like you mentioned, Navi has taken this into their own hands. They've dominated control of that final circle fight with a defensive bombardment. I don't think Neanderthals feels comfortable going back into a situation like that. So for me, where your benefit lies is you have the Wraith, and that's the one thing they don't have. So you can kind of initiate a little bit faster. Maybe the slower pace fight isn't working. Once you get that big shot, Blitziin's opening up with 87s to the dome very often. Maybe push on it. Use the Wraith to go in there, create some chaos, work as a 3, because if it gets late, it seems like Navi have mastered how to handle that situation.
Oh, and Nesh going down to 1 HP. They're actually using the jump pad going in. The R3 one-shots are hitting here on Exile, but Exile's going down low. Blitziin with the jump shot with the PK. Oh my goodness. That was a clean sweep. That was crazy too, but they had to use the Octane jump pad for that, which they may not have in this last round.
Yeah, and I think this is exactly what we kind of got to with what Neanderthals need to do now with NAVI. It's that, okay, late game NAVI has the edge. The defensive bombardment's gonna push us into that circle. If we just all stay even, they're probably gonna have the advantage. We have a little bit more aggression. We have a little bit more invulnerability. We have more mobility, and so we can take advantage of that earlier on. So we're coming in, hitting big shots. Now, NAVI, what's your counter to the counter, right? Are you raising? Are you meeting them at where they're at? And I think, if you're NAVI, now you've got to hit a big shot too, or you've got to avoid getting hit. That's the big key here. If you can't apply pressure early, you got to make sure they can't hit 287 shots and get ready to get aggressive on you too fast.
Yeah, and you're going to have to watch out for these grenades as everyone's got some coming out here. 55 damage. Nice shot, but NAVI, Max-Strafe, taking a little too much damage. So by what you're saying is Neanderthals are going to be W keying this round, and that's what it looks like here. They've taken every word of your advice. They're playing aggressive. They're outputting so much damage. Navi's not feeling good here. There's so much pressure on the line right now. He's 87 shots. Oh my goodness. Exile with the massive longbow shots there.
Wow. And you know what? I mean, you could just see Exile. He wins that fight as well against Kouhia. Turns around, uses the 301 after knocking one down with the longbow. NAVI, they're going to have to make some adjustments and fast because they're going to have about one round before it's all said and done. Not to count them out. You don't want to count your chickens before they hatch, but it's looking pretty secure. And, yep, that'll do. That Neanderthals are one match away now from taking the first game from NAVI. No, that was it. That was it because it was 9. It was the tiebreaker. Yeah. My goodness, we were sleeping. At least I was. And Neanderthals win it. So the aggressive play didn't need to last twice. It was just here that they were able to make their move. And boy, oh boy, NAVI was caught sleeping. Neanderthals, what a moment. Way to take advantage and change the pace. That was a pretty good masterclass, I think, of adjustments being made on adjustments, counters on counters, and two adaptable teams going at it, showing their strengths.
They're both evenly matched, I would say, but the opening with the double headshot on the longbow was sweet. Like that just ended the deal.
You know, 4-4 is not a score that we've seen too much today, and I think that's what's great about this matchup. We said it might go 5. It's looking like it very well could. Does this map, though, girl, in your mind, lend to either of these playstyles in particular? I feel like they all made great adjustments. They were very adaptable. Clearly had a lot on the line for this one, so they're taking it very seriously. But is this, you know, let's say this was on Party Crasher. What's your prediction as to what would happen? Would the pace be the same? Do you think this would benefit more of Strictly and the band of Neanderthals, or would NAVI be able to kind of show their strengths there?
Honestly, I think it's evenly matched. I still think the comp of NAVI excels the comp of Neanderthals. So I'm actually disappointed that NAVI lost just because that I like the comp more, the composition. And I don't think that Wraith is that great, especially against a Gibby team. But those headshots with the longbow just created so many openings. So if they continue to play that long range, that poke, and they're just outputting so much damage from far away. And this one, I didn't expect them to lose either, but Strictly's even playing in the zone to output damage. It was crazy, and it was really well played by Neanderthals there.
I think there were two really outplay moments, and it looked like a lot of the shots happened, you know, in that final round, and then that round you mentioned with the bubble. This was clearly a great tactical move by NAVI, but in some ways, when you rely on the tactics and your pace doesn't push the enemy team, then sometimes you can get outplayed. You can get outplayed by someone who just says, I'm going to go be the hero in this round. And oftentimes it was Strictly. Oftentimes in this round, you were seeing, I think, who was it? Exile, who made some incredible shots and then turned around, made some great plays as well with the R301. So, you know, I think if I'm NAVI, you gotta take these moments out of their hands and say, we're starting off this engagement with enough of an advantage where it's not really reasonable for Exile to hit 287 shots, turn around, and R301 me as I'm pushing. Like, that can't really happen. This is what he did right after that, and Kouhia missed a bunch of shots here, and he reloads the R301 as he misses the second punch and ends up getting the kill. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes on the side of NAVI, but just really good clutch-up play from Neanderthals.
It was indeed, and it's probably a little bit of panic kicks in, you know, once your teammate gets double headshotted, you're panicking. It's literally the last round and you're in a 2v3 situation, it's not something you want to be. Thermal station, party crasher next. We're on to thermal station. Who do you think's going to win this one?
Oh, man. Well, you know, honestly, this one is going to be interesting. I want to look at the lineup because I think I'm curious if Navi are going to make any adjustments. To me, I think Navi and the Neanderthals may stay the same. To me, I see that as more the temperament of these teams. The Neanderthals feeling confident with their route and what's worked last game. I think they know how to use it better. Navi, I think, thinking we made some mistakes, and if we minimize those mistakes, clean them up, we will be in a good spot. And there you can see Neanderthals. They are on the same lineup strictly on the Octane, Blitziin on Wraith, and Exile on the Pathfinder. And then, yep, Navi sticking the exact same route as well. So a rematch in name, not in space, but Blitziin off to a 30-30 repeater in a Mozambique. I love these loadouts from him. I think this long range is really applying a lot of pressure.
Yeah, normally you see the Wraith with a wingman up close and personal, doing as much damage as possible. Exile taking the high ground off the bat. They're playing really passive in this next round. I think just because they have that one map advantage, that they just want to 3-0 wipe them so they can go on to the finals tomorrow. Max-Strafe taking in a lot of damage.
As we kind of roll into the top part of this, you did mention finals tomorrow, girl. And that is what they're both playing for. Neanderthals, to me, I think, are recognizing something that Navi is going to have to start becoming in the driver's seat as. It's that Navi isn't naturally a very aggressive team. And so when you have a lead, you don't have to be as aggressive as the team who doesn't have a lead because they're trying to get ahead. When you're already ahead, you can kind of be more conservative. And this is putting pressure on Navi to play outside of their comfort zone. So who's it going to be up to? Kouhia on the Octane seems like he may have to start making some plays here aggressively to get Navi back involved.
Navi's feeling really pressured right now to make a move, to push in. They don't have the high ground though. Exile has the perfect spot on all of them, and I think it's putting them on tilt. It would put me on tilt if I got damaged so much. I don't have that many heals. It is round 1 of the series, so they're going to get together. They're going to push together. Kouhia taking in 150 damage, but they do have the angles. They get the first knock. Can they stay alive with that 50 HP all together? They got to play this tight. They got to play it together. Exile has to hit his shots here. Can he hit his shots? He's going down as well. Blitziin, last one alive with the 30-30 repeater, just getting shot in the back, and that's the teamwork of Navi coming in. He hits a shot, but he's getting shot from 3 different angles. Navi ends up winning that one, just staying alive. That was really the key for Navi.
And that's the thing. That's how Navi's going to win this. They're going to be, they're not going to be aggressive, but they're going to be so tactical, and they're going to be so good at covering each other to where they can outsmart, outmaneuver, and outplay. But Blitziin, you could see, even though they were almost in the god spots the entire round, because of the way Navi pushed, but then stopped, but then got in their space, but then didn't run up the stairs quite yet. They forced Neanderthals to move, and they forced Neanderthals to engage, and that kind of put Blitziin in a tough spot where he's getting shot from 2-3 angles. I like the way Navi took that round. If they can do it again, this could be a map that they have a lot of success in.
Absolutely. Neanderthals, they're applying pressure now. Gotta be a little bit mad after that round. And I think if Neanderthals, even though they were in a 2v3, if they played a little slower, because they had the med advantage and the HP advantage, they didn't know Navi was so low. If they played it a little slower, got their picks one at a time, they may have been able to pull that one out. But it's now on to round 2. Navi ahead 1-0 here in this map. And they have just cracked Blitziin up. Blitziin popping that battery. And it's going to be a slow start.
Ring 1 about to close. A grenade hits Kouhia. Skirts on the side of the body armor, and he'll hit a shield battery as we see Blitziin go into the void, reposition towards the rest of his team. Navi with a little bit of high ground on the side of Max-Strafe, who had the opening frag in last round, and now the Prowler in the hands of Kouhia, which will be devastating up close. But the question is, can he get there On an Octane, you would certainly hope so, but things are much easier said than done here against this Neanderthal squad, which is mobile and which is working very well together here as round 2 is almost about to close here. 13 seconds left.
Yeah, Neanderthals have noticed that one of Navi's team members are on their left, so they are going to push right together here. They're going to take some different angles, but Strictly is going to go back to his team. He's not feeling very safe around these areas. And Kouhia just stimming on up. They know exactly where he is because they can hear the stim Nesh popping that dome maybe a little bit early. Not quite sure, but they're getting naded and they're getting pushed all at once.
Big time shots here from Strictly. Blitziin, Strictly find 2 kills. Nesh able to respond back. That's going to be Neanderthals easily sweeping this one back up. You know, it's either Navi making aggressive plays or they just look out of it. It looks like Neanderthals controlling the entire pace of this game by default, and Navi have to step out of the comfort zone in order to change that up. And for me, that just makes it very hard to look at Navi winning this series right now, unless something changes. And I don't know why that is, especially when you see Kouhia doesn't even get a chance to fire the Prowler and do damage before he's taken down. It's unfortunate here, but it feels like too much happening too fast. Navi has to settle the nerves and find a way to assert themselves here in this game, but well done by Neanderthals.
Yeah, Prowler is not the best weapon to play in a bubble fight there, and he, like you said, he wasn't able to output some damage. But also they were split up. Max-Strafe had to grapple all the way in, and Neanderthals knew that, so they ended up going for the push once they got Nesh out of position there, and he wasted his dome. So he wasn't able to dome backwards, he just domed right in front of them, and they were able to take advantage of that and utilize his own dome. Here we are with Strictly getting some angles. Maybe Max-Strafe's gonna get beamed in the air here. Nope, he misses the beam with the car. Car is not an easy one to track through the air, but look at these shots from Blitziin.
A lot of damage from Blitziin already. 711 to the name here. Tons of poke already. And Kouhia just trying to find something. In fact, he
doesn't want anything.
He doesn't want it. He doesn't want any of that. The Hemlock not looking good enough. Oh, well, guys, you know, we got to get a buff on there now. Players not taking it in tournaments where it matters, even fully equipped. But hey, you know, it's had its heyday. It's fine to not be the star of the show this time around. Blitziin really making great use of that flatline, though. This is such a versatile weapon. Maybe the most versatile weapon in this type of situation. You've got long-range poke. You could even go to the single fire if you want. Not that you would need to, but the hip fire up close, the nice kind of aim down sights, mid-range that you can have on it, it just does everything you need, especially with a Peacekeeper. I love Blitziin's loadout here for the Wraith.
Absolutely. You can tend to see these pros are either picking a fully automatic rifle or they're choosing to opt for a poke weapon or a shotgun. It's like either or, but these burst weapons haven't been doing anyone much good.
Yeah,
and they hit for 10.
You know, why not as much burst here on the side of Navi? Do you think this is a mistake, or it's just preference and they're sticking with it? Because a ton of wingman, but we haven't seen the 30-30. We haven't seen really the longbow unless things have gotten bad. But hey, maybe I'm asking questions too soon because Max-Strafe finds Exile right there with the wingman as I speak.
I think the poke weapons are just too good in the arena fights. You get some type of damage and then you peek back around the corner. You're just peek shooting. It's really good. I'm not sure how this car is going to work out, but he's doing damage. Oh. He actually downs Max-Strafe. They got to push off of that, though. Kouhia getting the re-knock, and it's all up to Blitziin in this 1v2 situation, but he does have the HP. Yeah.
This could be bad. This could be very, very bad. I feel like Blitziin might be able to take this, especially since they don't have time to heal. I mean, I like this maneuvering. Oh, wow. Kouhia's going to get that off. Wonderful play here from Navi. I mean, and this is the stuff that you can imagine just is so difficult, so frustrating as well to play against because Blitziin knows I could beat either one of them in a 1v1, but I can't get to them because they keep running around in circles. If I chase one, they're going to heal. So great stuff. Navi used the numbers advantage perfectly there. They go up 2-1 here, but they're working for every point that they're getting.
They're putting in a lot of work for every point. You can tell the amount of effort that goes into this. That knock, perfect. Perfect teamwork. And I don't know, how do you feel about the car here? He did a lot more damage with the wingman.
Yeah, I mean, I like the car. I like the flexibility. I think instead of going for the shotgun, and I've been in that position as well. You know, shotguns are great, but it's great if you have one PK and if you have something to spray, because sometimes those PK battles, the poke, the peek, somebody's duck, dodging, diving, and you're just off their tempo and you're missing all those shots. Having a spray weapon, I think really helps in some of those final circle moments to give you and your teammates coverage on being able to secure some of these kills. But at the end of the day, it might be just a more beneficial purchase as well. You got to say credits are a big deal. And so maybe that's playing into the shield battery strategy. The car might be giving him a little bit more bang for his buck.
We've got company. Contact.
We got to pop a battery here as Strictly was able to defend his teammate there. Kouhia taking a look around. They're going to grenade the doors in the middle so that they can be able to peek and poke. Don't let anyone play those doors because they could just surprise you. And Strictly with the knock on Nesh. He turns around. He gets re-knocked. This is a 2v2 situation. Blitziin has to use his battery here. And are they going to be able to get that revive off? I'm not quite sure.
You can't let it happen. But I'm feeling bad for NAVI here. It looks like it's going to be a pretty decent wipe on the side of Exile. But look at this. Right around the door. He's gotten stuck. He's going to hit it. Oh, he misses the kick? What in the world? The kick was missed. Max-Strafe, though, still in trouble. Can he hit the wingman shots? He cannot. Neanderthals will tie it up. Wow, it seemed like it might have been more straightforward than it was. But Neanderthals and NAVI, no matter what happened, end up squared away after 4 rounds.
Hey, that's what you were just talking about, though. Him having the car in that 1v1 situation and NAVI having a wingman. It was just really hard to shoot those shots inside of the building in a tough and pressured situation like that. So take a look at these ARs coming into play. Exile doing so much damage with his AR as well. So you got the car, you got the R301. It's just beaming inside of this room, and he gets the dub just like that.
Yeah, and I think that's why, and you know, to me, that's why it's a bit of a risk, because you have to say, well, I can't cover everything, but let me get the best version of, you know, close range, mid-range, and long-range fighting. It's a nice defensive bombardment. They hide behind the backside. It was really early. It's not going to do too much damage. But it does ultimately, however, hit Exile, and it does hit Blitziin and Strictly once. But NAVI can't really push on it. In fact, Nesh is still in trouble. They're going off onto Blitziin now, all dropping down to the lower end. What's Exile going to do? He could have taken from the top ropes, and he's going to go grapple back up, as Strictly looked like he could fall here as well. Strafe trying to pick his brains over onto that backside. Will he run to the left or right? Seems like he got the guess wrong, as Strictly comes back around and finds the kill himself. So Blitziin, Strictly still alive, straight with a full shield battery. He has the health advantage. And he dropped down. He's got to hit these shots perfectly. He gets it before the shield battery's off, but he's missed. But does he get the kill in time? No, it doesn't look like it. I feel that this will be Neanderthals cleaning it up. Oh, man, NAVI wishing they had that one back, especially after using the defensive bombardment right away to try to get the advantage.
Strictly was doing his best to stay alive, and that's actually what ended up winning them that fight, because Strictly stayed alive. Blitziin popped that battery. Even though Strictly didn't even heal, he ended up taking so much aggro from Max-Strafe and doing so much damage. Max-Strafe was 20 HP, and he was up to someone that was only 40 HP. He needed to hit like one good shot and get the knock, but the Evile got just so nerfed.
Yep. And I think these, you know, the choices that I'm seeing made, I feel like the Peacekeeper is in a much better position right now than the EVA.
Yeah.
And so I'm surprised to see him not go for that. But I think we're seeing more and more conversation around in this matchup specifically. You know, unless you're feeling so confident on your shotgun play, having an AR, having a something like a car, like a flatline, like an R301 in those engagements, even a Volt, may be doing you more good than that shotgun, just because there's so much wiggle room to it, and really it's just that one bullet that's making the difference in so many of these engagements. What a close battle we have here. Neck and neck. Neanderthals have a chance to win it, though, if they can push, and Nesh finds Exile. You know they want to finish this one off. They're going to take a lot of damage from the Thermite, but it'll be a quick NAVI finish up. So it's 3-3. NAVI and Neanderthals now separated by nothing again.
That was really well played by Navi. They played it perfectly. They broke the doors and then they took angles. You saw Neanderthals looking left, looking right, looking left. Where are they coming from? And then they ended up getting that entry damage and just pushing off that. I saw the PK in the kill feed. Whoever's playing PK on Navi is doing a great job. It's just entry damaging so much. And getting that knock just gives them that momentum to end up finishing it off. But now we're tied at 3-3. It seems like they put in so much effort to lose this for both of the teams.
And that's really the issue that I'm seeing with the way that this game has gone. No one has been able to separate themselves. It's been such a great contest of tactics, of skill, and of fortitude. Mentally, specifically, just because nobody's been in an easy spot. Nothing's been given. Every single down, every single knock has been earned. Strictly just gets away again. I'm sure Navi are tired of seeing that. And in fact, it almost drove Max to give up his position. It's smart of him to not have done that, though. Max will drop, and there it is. Strictly is down. Exile totally separate from his team. They're looking to get the thirst. And look at this, Exile doing so much damage with the R301. Exile finds 2. Oh my goodness, is he gonna put him in? It's gonna certainly be Neanderthals, Exile, and Blitziin fighting again. And it seems like Strictly doing his job of being the distraction, perfectly allowing Navi to force all their time and energy onto him, and the rest of Neanderthals clean it up.
There was one small mistake I would say Navi did there, and that was peeking over the left. They could have potentially dropped down under and tried going for Strictly, whom was 1 HP, but they ended up going in line of sight of Neanderthals. Now, if you look at it from our POV, it looks like he made a mistake going up like that, but if they jumped down from the back left underneath, it could have been a lot better, and Exile would not have any line of sight onto them. But it is what it is. You gotta look back, you gotta watch the VODs and see what happened, and then learn from your mistakes from there.
And you know, you could talk about play all you want, but this is one of the things that, yes, tried and true, yes, consistent as well. But for me, sometimes you get matches like this and you feel that you're perfectly evenly matched. Sometimes you get matches like this and you feel like, why can't I get my rhythm going? Why is this team so difficult to beat? This shouldn't be this way. And if I'm in the headspace of Navi, which I'm not, I don't know how they're feeling. Is this a match where they feel completely evenly matched? Do they feel like they're somehow not on their game? I definitely see a big distinction with the way that the assault rifles are having an impact in the 1v1 engagements. Kouhia taking a ton of damage there and still opting for the EVA 8, most likely due to the value in terms of purchasing power. But the Peacekeeper and the R301 on the side of Blitziin, that has been a combo. Very, very deadly, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're both holding R301s onto their team right now. Blitziin's got to go back, but I would say that they're doing a great job taking control of the map, taking all of the angles. Nesh has to heal right now. He's going for the battery, Strictly just playing that corner. I wonder if he's going to try and nade him off. Yep. Kouhia did not get hit. He might end up going outside to help his team. That's Exile over there, challenging his teammates. He's got to cover fire for him.
I think this is good positioning as well. I mean, Exile definitely making things difficult. A grapple on from a grapple to create the same level of distance that was. Great counterplay. Pathfinder to Pathfinder, a nod in the sky, and an acknowledgement to see you later. 3-4 Neanderthals. If they win this one, they are 2-0 up against Navi in the series. We could be facing elimination in the next game. Navi knows this is a must-win here to keep the hopes alive and not make it an incredibly difficult task to come back and advance tomorrow. But will we see more of the same, girl, where Navi was on the doorstep of qualifying and wasn't able to make it like last time? Will this be their moment of redemption? Blitziin certainly making sure that he can do anything in his power that it won't be.
Right here.
Looks like they're running out of meds. You can hear meds there in the middle. Strictly gets tagged up for 90 here. It seems like Navi has the better angle, but look, they're all standing in the same exact spot. They're pinging exactly where they might think they need to go. Neanderthals also back against the wall. Zone is about to pull in, and this is going to be a final fight into the middle of this last zone. Let's see if Navi can pull this out to tie it 4-4.
bad guys. Let's do this.
And this is where I get a little scared. Kouhia's going to have to hit some big shots on the wingman. He hits one, he hits two, and there's the defensive bombardment. Is this going to put them in a bad spot, though? The bubble will come out in just a moment. Otherwise, I'm not sure what this plan is.
Yep.
The bubble hasn't come out, but the defensive bombardment has cleaned them up anyways. They didn't need it. NAVI walk into that one, and we are now, again, our second map in a row with a sudden death. Next round wins the game.
He didn't even have enough time to throw his bubble, actually, because Neanderthals just jumped right into their faces. So they just pulled out their Evas, they did as much damage as they could, and none of them actually went down there. So it's a clean sweep. Good shots coming through. Kouhia absolutely dominating, but the zone was eating him alive. He turns around to take Strictly out with his team. Tying at 4-4. Now we're on sudden death. Let's see what happens here. Any jump padders? Double jump pad. They're going to go for the bottom.
And one on top. A little bit of damage here onto the red shields for both teams. Blitziin hitting the shield battery already. Using one of his 3, now 2 supply. Oh, it doesn't get much better than this when you're talking about arenas. 2 4-4 matches. Playoffs on the line. $10,000 prize pool. NAVI versus Neanderthals. They even both have ends to start the name. The synergy is almost complete. Max holding this angle on the door. Will anybody be kind enough to peek?
Hopefully he doesn't get tagged up too much while he's peeking, but he didn't. He'll be okay. You gotta know if Neanderthals has enough nades to kick off both of the doors and pinch NAVI like they pinched them earlier. Now, the team inside, if both of the doors are broken, they normally opt to go outside or underneath. And Kouhia looking for an angle here to get an entry frag, but everyone's playing it super safe. The Arc Stars might come through and come handy soon enough.
I see a lot of respect from both teams. Unfortunately, a lot of 11s there on the side of Strafe, but hey, he only got hit 11 himself. A lot of that damage went to Nesh. That big hitbox actually helping Strafe out and taking that high ground again. Kouhia got off of it as he saw in the window that Neanderthals had spotted his position. So no need to move and stay predictable. No need to stay predictable. Might as well move on that one. Still, inside and outside, Blitz is already preparing the contingency plan, which I like quite a bit. He's going to use his second battery of the 3, and so he'll have 1 remaining as ring 2 is closing now. 13 seconds left. I love the angle. This is going to put NAVI in a bit of a pinch, especially because they'll have to look in front of them and above and behind them.
See, if I were NAVI, I would bubble in the back and push the 2 on the top.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Except
They have an advantage here. They have an advantage somewhere, right?
They're absolutely doing it. There we go.
NAVI with the shield battery as well. Kouhia staying alive. They've gotten Strictly. They've gotten Exile. It's just Blitziin. It seems like maybe it wouldn't have worked out any better. And NAVI will take the win. It's a 1-1 in the series.
That's what happens when you don't play. So playing together could be really bad because you could just get angled and shot from 10 different directions. But playing split up just leaves an opening for the other team to target your teammates. The grapple up is really what did it for them, because climbing up on that height, you could just get headshotted. But the Pathfinder just made so much space. Those massive shots hit a big dub. Oh my goodness, love it.
Big dub. Oh my goodness. Well, I can't wait to see what's going on in game number 3. This has been 2 4-4 sudden death games. We'll see what happens in game 3 coming up right after this.
And welcome back, everybody, to the UMG Champions Apex Legends Arena $10,000 Invitational. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Rain Day and Girl. Excellent series. Well, honestly, one of the best series we have had today. And Rain Day, I've got to say, I'm hugely impressed with the battle we have here. Now, the viewers did correct me, or at least brought up something that I didn't bring up, and I apologize for that. This is the second time NAVI and Neanderthals have faced off against each other. The first time, Neanderthal did, in fact, get a 3-1 win. That's when NAVI was knocked down. So this is, in fact, a rematch. But this rematch seems to have benefited NAVI, as we've had 2 great round 9s. And right now, we're tied up 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's special to see around 9 in general, and to see it between teams that not only are evenly matched, but know each other with history that are, you know, counterplay and strategy has probably started before this matchup. So I love what we're seeing here in terms of competitive Apex Legends arenas. Probably can't get more competitive than this because even at the highest level, if you have a team that's much better or it's significantly better than their opposition, you may not get to see this level of back and forth, you know, the small details making the difference. And in this matchup specifically, one missed bullet, one bad grapple, one something, that's the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, and it's what I always say whenever I'm casting anything competitive-wise. You know, in esports, it's a lot different from your regular pub match versus your, you know, your regular ranked match, right? When you're talking about the upper echelon of pros that are competing today, one missed opportunity is an opportunity that's going to result in a positive result, hopefully, for the other team, and that's just a reality at the competition we're currently having. Now, one thing I do love more so than this series, it's great and all, but girl, you've been on point. Yo, you've called out 2 fantastic plays that literally happened seconds after you called it.
Hey, you know what? I play a lot of Apex. I watch a lot of Apex, and competitive Apex is my thing. I mean, Apex is my life, you know? So
sure.
I'm just saying what I would do if I were in that situation, except I probably wouldn't do that because I probably wouldn't be looking at my own game from like a bird's eye perspective.
Right.
But Party Crasher, this is one of my favorite maps. I'm excited to see them duke it out on here.
All right, well, Party Crasher, map number 3. It's going to be a fun one. Let's see who's able to take the 2-1 lead. It's got to be one of them, but who is it going to be? Hey, Rain Day Girl, take it away.
All right, we are here in game number 3. Somebody's going to go in the lead, but we know how much leads matter in a series like this. Not very much, as it's been 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, back and forth. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Great contest here between Neanderthals and NAVI. And here on Party Crasher, girl, what's the pace and the size of this map, being it a lot smaller and a little bit more aggressive leaning, going to do to change how this matchup is played?
I love the grapple, going on the high ground and just looking at that bin on the right side. Kouhia actually ends up taking everything there. So they do have the advantage for the long fight here, and Neanderthals have got to know it. They can't create too many openings. They can't get tagged up right now. They got to find a game plan to be able to push onto the other side and not allow NAVI to utilize all those meds that they just grabbed. Max-Strafe probably asking for a battery right now.
I mean, who's not asking for a battery if you play Apex Legends? Anybody, anywhere would want one of those. Evile holding that kind of higher ground there. And Strictly, as he's been on the Octane, a little bit more aggressive and trying to draw eyes, draw shots, and open up space for his team to make the real move. Evile actually shifting over to that far left side, and Max-Strafe trying to duel it out there with the wingman. So all these shots, some hitting, some not. There hasn't been one primary focus yet in terms of a target. Both teams biding their time here in round 1.
Biding their time, and Kouhia could use a Phoenix kit, but he's going to go for the battery instead. Max-Strafe just looking around to see if they get pushed. Evile is currently down. Strictly and Blitziin have got to get angles, but climbing up here isn't so easy, knowing that Kouhia is that wide flank right there.
And there's so much value in having that wide flank for either team because it really just makes sure that you cannot focus in one direction. Blitziin in trouble, but he's going to get the syringe. Doesn't look like he has any shield bats left. And so now it's become a battle of resources. And it seems to be leaning, at least in the way of NAVI as of now. Kouhia narrowly misses a couple of wingman shots and holds the right angle. Strictly with the Octane. Very beneficial with the passive, regenerating health every few seconds. So he's going to go back there with a slight advantage, although Evile is down and they're playing a man down. Strictly could be in a decent position, especially giving Blitziin a chance to get a couple of headshots here when the time is right.
I like how NAVI play it slow and they don't take any risks. But Nesh just going down there.
Well done!
Not good. He goes for the punch. He gets the knock, but it's a 1v1 here. No, 2v1, but they get it.
And this was wonderful from Max-Strafe. He grapples in, creates the aggression, and he sticks on it. And this allows the Neanderthal player to have to engage. And that, in turn, makes it very easy for the second team member of NAVI to come in and find a kill, an easy kill, basically uncontested on the backside. And so this is what I love. I feel that NAVI needs to do more of that, girl, if they really want to take advantage of this series.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's nice that they got the knock, but being able to close this out a lot faster would be really nice for the Max-Strafe going for this and getting that punch too. But they were both 1 HP. He gets knocked there in the end, but his teammate ends up clutching it out in the back. And that's just the man advantage we've been talking about all along. Exile, he's going to contest for this. He's getting hit. Kouhia's 1 HP. Oh my goodness.
That is just tough, especially for Kouhia. I mean, how does that happen? What play are you making? Because this is a very, very aggressive position now that you've been able to put Neanderthals in. And it really has been how many moments can a team have in a row before another team claps back? And so far in this series, it has been back and forth, back and forth. I'm not sure we've seen a 2-point lead in any of our maps yet, considering how even it has been. So will NAVI be able to kind of extend their lead here on Party Crashers? It is a shorter map. The engagements are right in front of your face. There's not a lot of movement. It's about hitting your shots. It's about pushing at the right time. And it's about not making mistakes. And Exile doesn't look like he wants to make any with the white wingman magazine in hand, ready to fire.
This time Neanderthals have the health advantage because they got those HP meds, they got the batteries. See if this nade hits, and it hits big time. Strictly goes down, and that's the opening that they need. You're going to see them W-keying here. Blitziin going to look out to see if he can get any shots while they're pushing in, but Max-Strafe with the wingman, with the grapple, going in for the flank. He tags Wraith for 1. Can he tag her again? He goes down, and this could actually be a very close fight. Exile cracking, but ending up going down as well. It was close.
Close, but NAVI will be your winners here in the second round as well. And so one more will put them at an advantage here in not only this game, closing it out, but also in this set, making it a 2-1 victory and 1 away from moving on. This map seems to really trend towards one team having an advantage over the other. It really seems to be, once you figure out your rhythm, once you figure out that poke, those couple of shots that work for you, it's just rinse and repeat, and it's very difficult to make strong adjustments here. But we'll see if the circle pulls any differently, or if we'll still keep fighting on that Party Crasher side, which was one of the more popular places to land in World's Edge as it existed. And it seems like just the same thing here for Kouhia. He's going to jump in, try to grab the shield batteries and the Phoenix kit and the med kit. He'll get it all.
He gets it all indeed, but Max-Strafe gets tagged up quite a bit. Down to 1 HP. That nade actually did tag him up there. Do we see Neanderthals pushing off of that? They go for the nade. Strictly is going to walk up. He tags for 76. What a nice shot.
Wow. I mean, this is crazy. These nades are doing so much damage. And Neanderthals have all 3 health. Why not push on this? They're definitely going into the territory. And I think if they cede the high ground here, which they might have just done, it could be all but over at least, for NAVI. And you can see Strictly and them moving slowly but surely, creeping, rolling around. The Gibraltar Dome giving them a nice little bit of space, though. And finally, we're seeing Gibby have a real impact in this engagement. Strictly now is totally isolated here, and he's going to go down. And what does this mean for NAVI? Exile has to come over. Exile will fall. Blitziin will go down. Will NAVI win? They will. 3-0 off what looked like an easy cleanup for Neanderthals to get back in it. NAVI, just like that, takes the 3rd map and now is 1 map away from advancing.
The perfect Gibby dome. Even though they lost their height, they were able to dome back up, sit in that, create that entry damage, and then push off of it. I believe Neanderthals were also healing in that moment, so he wasn't able to cover for his teammate there. And like you said earlier, this map is just for one team only. This does not go to 9 rounds whatsoever.
No, it doesn't, and it's so bizarre why that is. And I want a research paper. I want a double-blind, placebo, clinical controlled study to figure out why it happens just on Party Crasher. But at the end of the day, we know what we see, and we saw it yet again. NAVI ended up kind of taking a commanding lead in here after an initial round that was a bit contested. However, like we mentioned, they have the 2 differences. The Wraith obviously being prioritized for Blitziin and Neanderthals, and then we've got NAVI Na'Vi running the more traditional Gibraltar. And we've seen the Wraith actually in Blitziin probably be much more of the star versus Nesh and his Gibraltar play. It hasn't quite netted them too many rounds, whereas Blitziin has been a big factor in a lot of them. This round, they lose that unless that Gibraltar Dome comes up and gives them access to the high ground again to go ahead and isolate strictly. I love that play, and I think that right there might have been big enough to really turn this entire set in their favor.
You see Exile there trying to pop a battery, but not enough time. Once Strictly gets tagged up, you can't get cracked at the same time as your teammate. Once you're both cracked, oh boy. No, Navi's coming for you, but Dome, what do you think about Dome here coming up next?
Wow, it's going to be interesting. Height is important. Mobility is important here. I like the separation of the domes. I think that this will help in terms of a Wraith. I mean, having the invulnerability to potentially go across really where there is one open expanse that is dangerous. If you can utilize the Into the Void there to really buy some time, refocus the attention onto one of your teammates, or allow you to kind of take that attention and then suddenly you're not there anymore to be shot. Your teammates now have the upper hand. That could be big. Otherwise, I think, the open space is going to lend itself towards Gibby because, you can't really play in that. If the zone isn't favorable towards you, you've got nothing else to fight unless you're on Navi's terms. So if Nesh continues to show up the way he did in that last round in Party Crasher, I could see this going Navi's way, closing out the series right here.
100%, and they're on that momentum. The 3-0 is just going to get them feeling good. They're ready to sleep, too. They're in EU, right? So they want to get this over with. They got to get their good night rest for those finals tomorrow. But I haven't seen too much Dome Pro play here, so it's going to be interesting to see.
And it is the first time we are seeing this on broadcast, girl. So not just you, anyone here at the UMG events who's watched our Apex Legends Invitationals, you have now started your first moment of seeing Dome, just like all of us here, played competitively. And what a round, what a series for it to be featured with Navi and Neanderthals, so neck and neck here, and a deciding map for Navi, not only to get a little bit of a redemption against Neanderthals, but also to get to playoffs tomorrow. But Neanderthals, they're not out of it yet. They've shown maybe even the better half of gameplay over the course of it. Despite that Party Crasher failure that just occurred, can they turn things back around and force a Game 5? We'll find out here as Blitziin starts off with the longbow. Pretty good choice for me, but Max-Strafe already on ultimate height here, and he's got the 30-30. I love this decision by him. Oh, and already winning the trade.
Winning the trade, but Nesh also gets tagged up. I don't believe they went for the bins there, but oh my goodness, these shots by Max-Strafe. I love how he took that high ground off the bat. I know Exile went for that bin, so Exile's got the meds that he needs to take these poke shots.
Crazy.
But is Kouhia going for the other bin on the other side? I would hope so, so that'll tie them up.
And really, I mean, this is a one-time. They're both doing this with a one-time. So I mean, this is incredible. This is just people who have played the game for so long, and they just know how the bullets fly, how the guns work. It's just second nature to them. They don't really have to think about it. Strictly taking that center, and this is what we talked about. As the zone starts to move, it's a bit of a tough spot to hold without anything defensive.
Kouhia has such a good angle here. He can go for the flank, and he actually has. He got Blitziin down, and he's going to be able to get these flanks on Exile as well. Exile 1 HP, Strictly pretty much 50 HP. They're going to push off of this. Exile's down, Strictly's down. Kouhia with the opening on that and going for their flank, absolutely destroying them with a 1-0 on Dome here. That was crazy. They did not know Kouhia was on that building.
A great start for Na'Vi off of the first time we're seeing Dome here at the UMG Invitational, and also just here in Apex arenas competitively. It's a great showcase of what this map can be, but you're starting to see there's a big trend on height and a big trend on holding the middle. And Nesh, he walked up by himself, had that Gibraltar Dome, and just casually strolled in to finish off this fight. It was a really good calling card, I think, for Gibraltar mains to be successful on this map. We'll see if it pays dividends again, or if Exile will be able to get onto height and challenge. Curious to see what loadout he's running, because last time we did see Blitziin on the longbow. Will Exile have something to test Max if he's also on height? Uh-oh.
Those shots, they were so good.
Got him.
Max-Strafe is down. Yep. 3v2.
Wow. All of a sudden, NAVI looking pretty, and now looking anything but. Blitziin finds Nesh. Kouhia finds Blitziin. A couple more shots. This could get interesting. But Exile, he had high early on, and this is, again, can you get high? Can you get your Pathfinder up into the right spot? The 30-30 repeater in his hands means it's a really good option for him. They're going to get Blitziin back up, and the only hope Kouhia might have is to stave them off enough, maybe knock Blitziin, and see if he can get a quick revive. But it looks like it's all going to be a short here, girl. NAVI will go down this round. It's going to be 1-1.
You know what you got to do there?
What?
You got to grab the crafting material before you die.
Slide hop into the crafting material.
You could not do the 1v3. Yep.
Yeah.
Grab that crafting material.
No, it's true.
Jump into the lava and die. Don't let them get any kind of points. And go next, because that one was tough.
That's true. All right. Well, a great start here by NAVI, and you can see it was a mirrored effort right after that by none other than Neanderthals, who took height right back, using the exact same successful strategy for Max-Strafe. Now you may see some ultimates coming to line. Max misses the first grapple, but he'll hit the second, and actually decides to stay off to use just the zip line. Not sure if that was the goal, but it does allow his teammates to access this height as well. So this could be a plan of his. Get multiple members up on here, or at least use it as an escape route if they need to. The fight now is happening inside. Exile going up against Nesh. He loses most of that trade, so he's going to back off towards the center side. Max up on top, looking to maybe join on the right side here against Strictly. Beautiful shots here through the middle by Blitziin.
Don't know if Nesh could just enter that building all on his lonesome when there's 3 players of Neanderthals inside, but Blitziin actually taking angles on the roof now. Kouhia taking angles from the side doors. This is a hard building to hold. They're trying to hold all the doors, but there's just absolutely, like, there's 8 doors to this building and so many windows. So they can play it safe. They can go for the care package. They can go for the meds now that they've got the high ground. But Blitziin, he's contesting them so much. Strictly with the entry.
Oh, no.
Still on them right now. Exile going down back. So they got the trade here. Blitziin, can he put in some effort here? Yes, he's going to go for the revive. They're going to force them to do something. But Nesh, he cannot push in on his own.
And you can see, you know, Max in a really weird spot because he's got the longbow, but this fight was anything but what a longbow would really be successful at. And so the wingman car, you got to give Strictly and his loadout an advantage. But with a Mozambique and a wingman, Nesh is able to push in as well. Max-Strafe has done the job of distraction, and it has worked. NAVI still with 2 alive. And they can see Blitziin and Exile are also alive. Will he take this backside spot? He might just do it. It's a bit risky. Blitziin looking to aggress. Wingman shots, beautiful, aim down sights, and that'll do it. Neanderthals take a 2-1 lead. It was a odd bit of events here from NAVI, pushing inside, solo with Nesh. Couldn't quite get the grapple, used the Pathfinder zip line to get to the same spot, then dropped off it. Maybe a bit of miscommunication from what NAVI really wanted to do.
To be honest, they were really split up from the beginning, but that's something you got to do when entering this building here. As you can see, Exile going down, but they kept trying to revive him Strictly with the damage on Nesh. Nesh continuing to go through that same exact door, but it was just so hard for him. He was able to get the knock, but unfortunately, once they pushed in, they got them down both to 1 shot each, but 1 shot was too much because they were in a 2v3 situation twice in that same exact game. So Exile taking the roof this time. It saves for 50. It's a back and forth for roof here.
Max-Strafe EU still keen on the EVA 8. Purple Bolt, Digi-Threat. Blitziin and Strictly in the Wild Wild West stare down here. The door creaks open. Opportunity for grenades to have leaked in. But Max is holding down that door. Nesh, Kouhia on the upper side. Max may just have a grenade that could do something there. Doesn't look like it's going to hit, but it was close. 8 shield cells for Kouhia. And he's going to use 2 of them right now, biding their time. Still, Exile on height, forcing actually Nesh and Kouhia off that high ground, but it does isolate them here. Blitziin and Strictly playing by themselves. Is there a way for Girl maybe NAVI to push and capitalize on this?
it's quite hard because Exile has the ultimate height right now. Blitziin just playing this staircase, playing these headshot angles. It is quite difficult to push this team, especially even if they go through the whole building entirely. They're going to have headshot angles on top of them as they go through. So they got to figure out a way to be able to push. Do they have Gibby ulti? Can they use that to get Exile down and retake height off of them? Something they're going to have to consider here.
Nesh with the shield battery here. Door wide open. Most ordnance has been used, and there's the push, but it's not going to work to Strictly's advantage. Peacekeeper choked up.
We're going to see a dome push.
Ooh, a little bit of a miss. He's willing to take that trade again because the risk, the reward is worth it. And you can see maybe there will be a dome push. As Girl mentioned, 2 Gibraltar dome shields available. But it's still holding inside. They're going to have to make their move soon. Not in this circle, but we may be waiting one more here as Exile has not moved from this height. Big point here. Neanderthals could push it to another game, close it out with a 3-1 victory. However, you can see NAVI tie this thing up and maybe have a chance of pushing themselves through to tomorrow off of this map.
They've got to get to that door all together and dome push. There's almost nothing else that they could do. Or they could play that end zone and see how that works out for them. But it seems like they're going to have to lead. Yeah, they're going to have to dome push eventually. They might just wait until the last second. They do have 3 grenades in hand. They could be waiting until the final moment to use them.
Well, there's the dome push. And I think they're aware of maybe Exile coming to push in. There are grenades available. And now, this is a big shot. He's got to hit a PK shot. Looks like they've missed quite a bit. Strafe, Blitziin. Oh, Neanderthals, they're going to clean it up. Not even a problem. Neanderthals are going to take this one and win the map. We are squared away yet again. We are going to a map 5.
It's too bad that he didn't utilize everything that he had there with those 3 grenades, but maybe he just did not have enough time. And they thought that bubble push could have worked out for them, but nobody ended up pushing that bubble. They played it safe, and that really worked out for Neanderthals. They had the high ground, they had those boxes to play around, and they played it patiently, and it worked out. So now we're tied back up.
Yeah, that height really was the biggest difference because it really kind of set the tempo to where they couldn't be aggressive. And as long as Exile was there, he could always drop, engage on whoever he wanted that was already engaged in a fight down below. And there really wasn't a way to do it. One thing that could have happened is maybe throwing that dome onto a little bit farther onto the 2 players that were isolated to really say, we're fighting underneath. 2, 3 of us are fighting in this dome. We're not worried about height. And if you want to come join us, fine. But by the time you do, we'll have fought 2v1 or 1v2, 1v3 against at least Blitziin or at least one of the members of Neanderthals who are kind of hiding there. But it was a tough situation for NAVI. They definitely let themselves get to a pretty precarious situation, and now their face tied up again. But, girl, I mean, should this series have not been tied up? I mean, these teams have been so even from the very beginning. It feels like it's only right that a Game 5 would decide it.
No, absolutely. They have been doing pretty well against each other. It is a very even game, and it's nice to see them 3-1 again as well. But now we're going to throw it out to the break, and the final map will be coming soon.
And welcome back, everybody, to the UMG Champions Apex Legends Arena $10,000 Invitational. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Rain Day and Girl. What a series we have here, Girl. My goodness, we're going to a map number 5. I honestly wouldn't want it any other way, just like Rain Day said earlier. This has been a nail-biter. It truthfully has. We've seen 2 round 9s as it is. Like I mentioned, we're going to a Game 5 overflow, which quite honestly is interesting, given the fact that Neanderthal, that was the final map they played against Era Eternity, and it wasn't pretty at all, Girl.
No, it wasn't. They did get shot on a little bit, but hey, now they're against NAVI, a completely different team. We'll see what they can pull off. My money's still on NAVI. It is overflow. Anything can happen.
Sure.
Love this map. It's very even for both sides. They have 2 different sides where they can go for the bins. Quite even. But we normally see one team dominant on this map. I don't think we're seeing any Bangalore play today.
Yeah, we might not. And Rain Day, I do got a question for you. We've been talking about, how even these two teams are going from map to map to map. As we do head into map number 5, the pressure is going to be at an all-time high. Remember, this is a qualification match. Loser, their tournament run will end today. The winner obviously will have a chance to play for the money tomorrow. So as we head into Overflow, who truthfully has the leg up?
I think it's NAVI. I think NAVI have the skills, but I think what's happening is in that final moment when they need to put their foot on the gas, try to make that pass of that car that's been in front of them for 199 laps. You're in the 200th. You have to make a move. At some point, you can't just get close enough to hope something happens and they make a mistake. And so I think it's up to NAVI. They're close. They're in every single fight, but I think they have to be more decisive on when they get an advantage or when they're going to make an advantage. And that, to me, is going to be the deciding factor.
I mean, that's a fact. And again, the only European representation, okay? So a lot of people maybe are, hoping NAVI moves forward, despite Neanderthals winning the chat votes. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that was simply by points alone. The popular vote actually went over towards NAVI. So I'm curious to see who's going to end up. But it all comes down to this, right? Game number 5. We're going to have a winner very shortly. But hey, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Let's get this map 5 going, shall we? Rain Day Girl, take it away.
All right, girl. Wow, what a day we have had. A lot of casting, wouldn't you say, bud? I mean, it's been really a long time of good arenas gameplay, $10,000 on the line. And now we have one map that will decide who plays for that $10,000 and whose run ends today. Pretty exciting stuff.
It is indeed. Who is the best grapples on Pathfinder also? Because it really depends on them and who wins that fight on the bin. If they end up both going for the same bin in the beginning, we've seen a lot of 1v1 situations where we've seen teams get a lot of angles on those bins in to begin with. So excited to see Max-Strafe here going for that grapple. Oh, they're going on the left side.
NAVI and Exile. Max-Strafe and Exile doing everything that they can to get aggressive. And Max-Strafe, he's had this moment before where he's gotten a little bit too aggressive, found himself without a shield battery, and with a knockdown shield in his hand.
Wow.
There we go. Finally gets himself right back. It's already a knock there on the Strictly. And sometimes, you put a big enough bait into the water, you might just catch something big enough. And they ended up catching Strictly, pushing that, thinking maybe Max had a chance to go down. In fact, he's the one who falls, and now it's just Exile and Blitziin. This should be a wrap for NAVI in round 1.
Yeah, for sure. They ended up getting the meds. They ended up getting that entry kill. Unless Blitziin can hit some double headshots or Exile hit some triple headshots here, we won't be seeing them win this round 1. NAVI always playing it safe, even with the one-man advantage, because they know couple headshots, they're back down in the water, right? They're drowning. So they pick up the PK, they pick up the care package. They're gonna get together. But I would really love to see them just pounce. You know what I mean?
Well, this is really, I think, a deciding factor. This is something where I think NAVI, as much as you want to stay aggressive, you want to set the tone, you want to apply pressure, you do have to be cautious here. You do have to be absolutely certain you win this round, because if you lose a 2v3, I mean, you shouldn't have a chance winning a 3v3 here. And NAVI know that absolutely. And so they will bide their time, and they're going to hold. They're still doing a good job of making sure Blitziin is in trouble, but they definitely get taken down to the left. Another PK shot, that's going to do it. 9 damage is enough. And that's what Max-Strafe is going to be saying to his teammates as they grab the first round here. 2 more rounds to go, and they are in playoffs.
I love the respect that they give each other, but Kouhia with that opening entry damage on Strictly, yeah, the wide flank there, and the PK shots to end it off. They were both really low, but they still took their time to eat their food. They chewed every bite.
They chewed every bite. They pushed the peas in the corner. They played with it a little bit, made a face. But at the end of the day, at least they ate enough to get dessert. Now they got to do the dishes, which means sometimes you got to do the hard work. You've had some fun. It's time to close it out. And Exile knows that this is a big round. Going down 2-0, it's going to not look too good. And so Exile, really good maneuvering there, staying on the ledge, grabbing 2 shield batteries, staying alive. Kouhia, though, feels like he can isolate 1, if not more, of the team members. And there it is, Exile right there, takes 30 damage. He's got about 45 to his name. He's trying to cut him off. And he may be able to find it, but look, he runs into another one again. Now Kouhia is the one for the trap. Navi has to full compress here. Blitziin and Exile are down. Finally, Exin falls. Blitz, he's got to get a shield cell off. Strictly is very low as well. This could be Navi, but it's a 2v2 battle. And Strictly will fall. This looks like Max-Strafe and Nesh should be cleaning it up. One more shot as well, girl. That should do it against Blitziin. And Navi are one more game away from redemption and going into playoff Sunday.
Ayo, Navi, that was... Well, they almost may have messed it up there by pushing, but they ended up doing it. They ended up pushing while they were both low, and that's something often teams make a mistake of, is not pushing. See here, as Strictly was not 1 HP, but 100 HP, and his teammate was 1 HP. It's a good thing that Navi got those angles, got those pushes, and ended up finishing it off before they ended up healing, because once they heal, you're on the downside.
I love, though, the way that we saw Max push into that. And I think you have to have, this is the moment I said, when are you going to get aggressive? And Strictly, Exile was close. He was 45 health in. They said, I'm going in. He ran into Strictly, but he forced the issue. They ended up getting Exile, and it all tilted in Navi's favor. And this is where I think we're going to see maturity from Navi. I think this is where finally they're going to jump past some of their mistakes that they can make in these matchups that will help tomorrow if they're able to get one more round. But Neanderthals, we've counted them out before. We counted them out in the series to start. They have put up one heck of a battle. They have made this a game 5, best of 5 series in the 5th game here. They've still got more in the tank. What are they going to do here? Potentially the final round to keep this alive.
And here we go. Exile taking in a lot of damage. He grapples out. Gonna pop the battery. Navi gonna get this for free. They pick up a Prowler yet again. Didn't work the last time they picked it up. But the Volt's been super strong all day today.
And that seems like that's going to be a smarter decision there. Strictly getting a lot of damage taken. Grenade's going to force Exile out. Oh, and this might hit as well. Exile in trouble, but at least he's got a shield battery. The Volt already doing a ton of damage. Navi looking very pretty. They can smell it. Victory is almost assured. But not if Strictly has anything to say about it. The car still doing plenty of damage. The newest weapon in Season 11. And the Volt firing down from Exile. Those bullets, even though the mag's different, still hit it just as hard. But not as hard as Kouhia, who he sneaks up behind. He finds 1 kill. This could be it. Navi girl trying to push their way into the playoffs.
Absolutely. Now it's a 3v2 situation. Exile gave them the high ground, which is not something we've seen him do very often in this series. And here we go, Blitziin going down as well, putting 1 to 1 HP. So Exile gonna grapple, try and get that re-knock, but he does not do it. And that's Nesh coming in. Kouhia coming in to finish it off. Now V is the champion of our final match. Wow, what a way to end it.
What a series goes 5 games, and Navi clean it up, a 3-0 on overflow to send themselves into playoff Sunday. Redemption being in this position last go around, and now they have made their amends, and they will be fighting for the $10,000 prize pool. What a performance by Navi, and what an exciting way to end the day, Taylor.
And the first time that they're going to be in playoffs, right? They've been trying for the past 2 tournaments we've hosted, and now they finally make it. 3rd time truly is a charm. And man, what a way that they ended up making it. The rematch, by the way, remember again, Neanderthals played against Navi earlier today in the bracket, or at least in their pool, and they ended up winning 3-1. So talk about flipping the script. And man, it was a good series through and through. One of the best ones we've had yet. And pretty fitting that it was, in fact, the last series of the day. Girl, Navi's looking very strong, but how strong do you think they're looking in comparison to the competition heading into to tomorrow?
To be honest, I think having all of these games played and going into the lower bracket, winning it out, they're fast learners, right? They lost to this team earlier. They ended up winning it through. I think they put in a lot of practice and teamwork together, but some of those top teams, you know, in that winner bracket looking scary. They're looking scary.
And I think, you know, Rain Day, the only map that they're currently looking weak on, or at least the weakest on, because, you know, the other loss they took to Neanderthals was a very narrow round number 9, right? So that was on Phase Runner, but Dome, right? A 3-1 loss there. Maybe some concerns heading in for tomorrow if we see Dome once again for Navi series.
Yeah, they have to figure out how they're going to manage indoor fights. Otherwise, they have to have a completely different strategy to guarantee getting height, because that seems to be trading off. The height seems to be trading off one and the other, and if they take anything that's not height, it looked bad. So I think Navi have to get a little bit more assertive. But what they did to make those adjustments in this final round, where Kouhia pushed off of Exile, getting low, really sacrificed himself, but opened the door for his teammates, they've got to play as a unit. It's not just one, it's three. As an organism, you may have to sacrifice one for the other two to succeed, and I think that level of decision making is going to be crucial for them to be successful, not only on Dome, but tomorrow when they're facing teams who might be a little bit more put together in terms of how they like to play.
Sure. And I think everybody kind of had their moment in the spotlight today, girl, specifically for Navi. But if you had to pick an MVP on that roster, who would it be?
Oh, that's hard, but I think Kouhia made a lot of opening plays, so I think I'll go with Kouhia.
Fair enough. All right, Kouhia. I'm also looking at Max-Strafe. He had some really good stats. Nesh as well. I think as a whole, right, Navi, and again, to your testament, it's very difficult to choose an MVP because everybody had their moment in the spotlight. Everybody played well. And quite honestly, you can't have anybody slacking in tense series like this. You do, you're most likely not going to win, right? So you got to tie up all your loose ends. And I think Navi did that quite well. Again, very happy that they will, in fact, be representing EU tomorrow during the playoffs. The first time, once again, they've been there. I know their brethren at arms, Aqualix has been there, but Navi's going to get a chance at the money and maybe even a chance to take the whole thing, right? You don't know how this is going to end up unfolding, but I got to say, great series through and through. For Neanderthals, hey, I got to give them a shout out because Rain Day, compared to that Era Eternity matchup, this was a totally different story.
Totally different team, and I think that's a testament to how good these guys are. It's also a testament to Era Eternity and maybe how much, in terms of talent that they've got on that roster, they're going to be a tough team to beat tomorrow.
Sure.
But I think Neanderthals and the improvement, plus being able to take it to a team like Navi who have the experience, there's a lot of bright stars, I think, on that team. And again, one of the great things about this tournament, as you both mentioned, is that you get to see these players, in a much more isolated and almost spotlight that allows them to shine in a way where Apex Legends Esports hasn't yet allowed some of these newer faces to do so. So it was great to see Blitziin and the boys in action today.
Without question. I think there's still an 8th spot. I'm assuming that series is finished with, but I am curious who ended up winning that final spot because 7 of them are for sure solidified, right? But I was kind of curious between Pittsburgh Knights and who ended up losing that one. Speaking of which, I think our top 8 team graphic is ready to go, and I'm just as curious. So let's go ahead and look at it. Who was that final team? And it was actually Pittsburgh Knights. You see it there on the bottom. But girl, this is shaping up quite nicely. These are your top 8 teams from today.
Hey, we might see a rematch of Arena Demons and Torrent, Esports Arena, Navi, CLG. Oh, this is going to be a good day tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be a great day. Rain Day, come on. These teams played their heart out. And let's take a look at our bracket, right? See what is going to be our matchups in round number 1. And off the rip, Navi. Esports Arena out the gate, Rain Day. Not going to be easy.
Oh, no. But Navi, I think, coming from a match where you're tested, to me, I like this because in playoff basketball or in sports that I traditionally love to watch, after you get out of a game 7 where you have to battle every single match and the other team sweeps or the other team, maybe has an easier run at it, that game 7 energy carries through into the next round. So they've gone through trials and tribulations to get here. I expect a pretty good match between Esports Arena and Navi.
I think I expect pretty good matches across the board. I mean, CLG, Arena Demons, both of them performed quite well today. I might put CLG ahead of Arena Demons only because they do look a bit shaky. Granted, make no mistake about it, Arena Demons had an incredibly difficult group. Torrent and Pittsburgh Knights, though, that's going to be a hard one. I think the outliers to me might be Torrent and Pittsburgh Knights and Esports Arena and Navi, girl. In terms of, one being heavily one-sided, obviously I'm talking about Torrent being the favorite against PK and Esports Arena being the favorite against Navi.
Yeah, absolutely. But Navi could pull it through. They have adapted really well in the series today, and they've worked so hard for it. So I'd like to see a really close and tight fight between the two of them. And honestly, I would give Torrent the upper hand with Pittsburgh Knights. They've been playing exceedingly well today. But, everyone's going to be doing their VOD reviews. Everyone's going to be getting those strategies up and running tonight, brainstorming together, and they can even potentially run some custom lobbies together if they really wanted to, because I think all professional players teams right now, like the top 20 teams or top 40 teams, have access to custom lobbies. So maybe they'll be practicing.
Hey, maybe so. And Randy, I do got to ask your opinion. Who's the strongest team tomorrow? Okay, because for me, if I had to take a shot, honestly, I might say Era. Era gave us one of the most dominant performances I have ever seen, and they were having fun while doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have to go Era as well. The one question mark to go is, what does that look like if they are challenged? Because clearly the matchup between Neanderthals didn't work out to them. But how do they play under pressure? All the other teams actually pretty tested throughout the matchups today. Era Eternity was the one sweep that felt like, wow, well, this is over before you could even blink. So I'm really curious to see what does that matchup look like for them if they have to start making adjustments and they have to start changing the tactics of how they play and not being able to 360 shot, in order to finish off these rounds. But overall, I have to say the way they perform, they're looking like a top favorite, no doubt.
I would say so. Girl, you have any opinions on your favorite?
I honestly want Torrent to win in the bottom group, and I want Arena Demons to win in the top group, and I want to see them play in the end. I've been saying that all day today, but that's exactly what I want to see. But Era's been doing really well today. Can't count them out. There's honestly going to be a surprise tomorrow, I would say.
Well, it is definitely going to be a surprise, but at least we have some groundwork laid out. Let's take a look at our schedule for tomorrow. At least we have the time slots. We'll still figure out which ones we're going to be featuring. But obviously, starting at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, quarterfinals are going to start. And you're not going to miss any moment, okay? We're going to be trying to showcase every single round that takes place. Obviously, quarterfinals, one might slip through the cracks here or there since we're only going to be showcasing the top and bottom at the same time. But semifinals for sure, you'll be seeing all that. And then grand finals to finish off. Guys, this is top 8. And on top of that, too, the pressure is going to be even higher because, look, yes, $10,000 is on the line, but if you're finished off in round 1, Rain Day, you don't get anything, right? So you got to at least win your first series if you want to finish in the money.
Yeah, that means you got to wake up ready to go. What is 15, 16 hours right now? You got to get your sleep in. You got to eat your Wheaties. You got to have your Raisin Bran, whatever it is. You got to make sure you hydrate. And you got to get some fruit in the morning to be ready with that glucose to say, okay, it's time to go. First round means everything. And then you worry about what you're going to do in the finals once you get to the finals.
There you go, right? It's one series at a time. You can't be too focused, too far ahead. You got to focus on what's here and now. It's been a great day, girl. What's your final words before we get out of here?
Honestly, from what I've heard from a lot of pros, they don't like to eat before a tournament. So I really want to know what they're going to have for breakfast tomorrow. But I expect some amazing gameplay. And I'm super excited for tomorrow, 12 p.m. ET. Be there, okay, everybody?
Hey, hopefully they'll be there. It's weird that pros don't like to eat before they play. I knew one player in another esports title would actually, I'm not even joking, eat an entire box of Lucky Charms before he would compete. Now, the sugar rush must have got him through because he was actually an incredible player and was a champ in his own right, but still a bit weird to me. Rain Day, obviously, I got to pass it to you for final words. First time, I think, casting officially whenever it comes to Arena.
Yeah, it's great. It's been such a fun time. I love the pace. It's faster, but it's tactical. And to me, it showcases a different, more subtle art of Apex Legends fighting that you don't get to see when RNG and the chaos of a battle royale is upon you in everyday games. And this is really the beauty of arenas, the isolated environment. And we get to see some of these best players put on not only their best thinking hats, but their best mechanical hats in order to really have these tense moments shine and become superstars in their own right. So I can't wait for tomorrow. Someone's going to be winning $5 grand, and there's going to be a lot of other prize winners as well.
Absolutely. Tomorrow's going to be an incredible day, and I want all of you to be there. Make sure you hit the follow button if you haven't already so you can stay up to date when we do go live. But it has been a great day, and we owe that to you, so give yourself a pat on the back. If you're alone in your room, it's not going to be weird. If somebody sees you doing it, explain that I just said to do it, and they're not going to know what you're talking about either way. But hey, for myself, Taylor, Reflection Noble, Rain Day Girl, On Set, and Gaskin, our production team, and you in chat, thank you so much for being here. Be back tomorrow for the playoffs starting at 12 Eastern. We'd love to have you again.